Thank you, boys and girls, and welcome to our 2017 Arbor Day celebration. And we would like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by our peer ambassadors. So please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can you hear? Can they hear in the mic? Again, I'd like to welcome you to our Arbor Day celebration. This is a tradition in Frederick County in collaboration with the City of Frederick, and Parkway Elementary is delighted once again to be a part of this annual celebration with the City of Frederick, a Tree City USA community. Today, we were hoping to have our celebration at Colors Lake, but because of the weather, we are inside. So we do want to celebrate the fact that we are all here together today, and it's so beautiful to see all of the blue and white out there representing Parkway Elementary. Arbor Day was established as a legal holiday in 1884 in honor of its founder, J. Sterling Moulton, a pioneer, a newspaper journalist, and an avid lover of nature, who moved to Nebraska and was encouraging everyone to plant trees. Mr. Moulton organized and participated in the first celebration. He had students in classes with banners that were marching through the city to prepare to plant their trees. He spoke to a very large audience of over 1,000 students and community members, and he declared, quote, "Every generation takes the earth as its trustees." Just like the first students who planted trees in 1884 during the first Arbor Day celebration in Nebraska, we were planning to plant a tree today. We'll talk about that a little bit later, so you'll learn more about the tree that is planted today to observe Arbor Day. That tree will be part of the biological system at Colors Lake, and it'll be here for generations of Frederictonians to enjoy. April 28th is the National Arbor Day, and each third grade student in Frederick County Public Schools will be receiving a white pine seedling to plant to keep our communities green. So boys and girls, when you get your seedling, be sure that you plant yours. Now I'd like to introduce our guests who are joining us today for our observance of Arbor Day. And first I'd like to introduce our City Alderman, Kelly Russell. Is Dr. Ken Carr here? Is Dr. Ken Carr here? He's not, right? Okay. And Mrs. Russell is going to be speaking a little bit later on our program because unfortunately the mayor was not able to join us today. Also from the City of Frederick is Tom Rippian. And we have two representatives from the Maryland Forestry Service, Becky Wilson and Mike Kay. You'll be hearing more from some of those guests a little later on in our program. Also present today with us is SCPS Elementary Science Curriculum Specialist, Chris Horn, and Kendra Henson, Teacher Specialist. We have two instructional directors joining us. Our director, Steve Raff, and Kathy Pritchard. We're also very fortunate today to have a member of the Board of Ed joining us, Ms. Joy Schaefer. And of course, our superintendent, Dr. Albert. We thank each of you for joining us today for our Arbor Day celebration. We appreciate your presence. I would also like to acknowledge members of our PTA who are also here today, as well as members of our school community who are seated in the back. We thank you for taking out the time to join us. I'd like to have a special thanks to Robert Wolf, we call him Bob. Mr. Wolf is our STEM teacher leader, and he has been very supportive in organizing this event, as well as all of you who are participating and attending our program today. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your presence and attention in honor of Arbor's Day. Next, we will have our greeting and remarks by Dr. Arbor, followed by a special song, compliments of our musical director, Mr. Corpin. And boys and girls, you've learned this song, I understand, and you're going to be singing it. And those of you who are on the program, the words to the song are on the back of the program if you would like to join our boys and girls in singing a special song about trees. The proclamation then for the Arbor Day will be read by Mrs. Russell, and then we'll have presentations of awards by Mrs. Wilson from the Maryland Forestry Service, okay? So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Arbor. Dr. Arbor?
Well, good morning, Parkway. How are you today? So I was at a meeting this morning before I came here, and when I said I'm getting ready to leave to go to an Arbor Day celebration, a couple of the people in the meeting went, "Oh, I'm so sorry, it's raining." And I said, it doesn't matter, because you obviously have never been to an Arbor Day celebration to see what the most important part of it is. What do you think the most important part is? I know teachers, they're not supposed to call out, but I'm way up here, so I'm going to have to go ahead, call it out. Who do you think the most important is? I think there's something even more important than the trees. It's you. The most important part of the Arbor Day celebration are the students, because every time I go to this celebration, I get to hear what students have learned about trees, how they understand why we should be so proud that we live in a city that values trees and cares about our environment. And so the most important part of the celebration is what is now in your heart and mind that you're going to share with all of these guests who came here today. So it doesn't matter if it's rainy. It would have been nice to be sitting out there in the sunshine by the lake, but that doesn't change what's in you and what has been changed in you by studying about trees and by being the very special school that was selected to represent all of Frederick County for this celebration. So I want to thank you, the students, for making this celebration bright and cheerful because of who you are and what you have learned. And I want to thank all of your teachers and the PTA and other members of your school community who have helped you gain that understanding and plan for this very special celebration today. You are going to hear from experts about the trees and why they're important. You're going to hear from Alderman Russell about why the City of Frederick supports this and how proud we should be that our city supports this. And you have a lot of people here from FCPS who are just going to be sitting up here smiling and proud because of you, the most important part of this, because you have to be the ones who plant and protect the trees and who help teach others about why a day like Arbor Day was so important it became a national holiday. So thank you, Parkway, for representing all of us, but thank you most of all for being the ones who make this a bright and cheery celebration today.
Dr. Arbor, would you come back to the podium for just a minute? And On the way in, Dr. Arbor made a comment that she wore green today, but wearing green is very appropriate because, boys and girls, what color are our trees? Green. So that was very appropriate, but also because you're at Parkway Elementary and we appreciate the fact that you're here, we would like to present to you a Parkway Elementary t-shirt. So you can wear blue and white as well.
Here we go, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Well, boys and girls, good morning, and thank you for that wonderful song. I've heard a lot of John Denver songs, but that just might now be my favorite one. You guys did a great job. So I'm here representing the mayor of the City of Frederick. He's sad that he couldn't be here today, but he had some other issues that he had to be present for. And also my colleague Michael O'Connor wanted to be here. He hasn't missed a tree day yet, an Arbor Day yet, but he had to because of scheduling. So I'm here representing everybody from the City of Frederick, and we have a very special proclamation for you that I'm going to read. Excuse me. For Arbor Day, April 6, 2017. Whereas, in 1872, J. Sterling Morton, recognizing that trees are a source of joy and spiritual renewal, proposed that a day be set aside for the planting of trees. The day is now observed throughout the nation and the world as Arbor Day, and will be observed today at Parkway Elementary School. And whereas, trees are a renewable resource producing oxygen, providing habitats for wildlife, fuel for our fires, and wood for our homes, trees can reduce erosion of our topsoil, moderate the temperature, clean the air, and cut heating and cooling costs. And whereas the efforts of the city and its Arbor Day program attest to the fact that trees beautify our community, enhance the economic vitality of the business areas, and increase property values, and whereas the National Arbor Day Foundation recognized the City of Frederick as a Tree City USA, and the city plans to continue in its tree planting program, now therefore, Randy McClement, the mayor of the City of Frederick, hereby proclaims April 6th, 2017 as Arbor Day in the City of Frederick, and urges all citizens to support efforts to protect our city's urban forestry program and to plant trees to promote the well-being of present and future generations, and that's who you are. And so he presented this very special proclamation to you, and I'm so proud of Parkway being selected for this Arbor Day celebration. I live right down the street, so it's going to be very easy for me to keep an eye on your tree as it grows and as you grow. So thank you for letting me be here.
Good morning, Parkway. Good morning. That's fabulous. My name is Becky Wilson. I represent the Maryland Forest Service, which is part of the Department of Natural Resources. And I'm here today with my colleague, Mike Kay, to celebrate trees, just like you guys. And I have to say, I love coming to Frederick City Arbor Day celebrations because, as we heard this morning, you guys make it a joyous and colorful event every year, no matter what school I go to. And every time I hear a song being sung by you guys, the next generation that's going to care for our trees, I just get goosebumps all over, because it gives me a lot of hope to see that you guys are learning about trees and you're going to take care of trees and you're showing an interest in trees. So I agree. Thank you for the fabulous song to start our celebration. I'm honored today to be able to present the Tree City USA Award, and I'm especially always honored to come to the City of Frederick to do this, because the City of Frederick is the oldest Tree City USA in the state of Maryland. This year, we are honoring them for their 37th year of receiving this award. And that's especially notable because the program only started in 1976. So Frederick's really been involved with this since the ground floor, and they've not missed a year. And you can see why, because the energy in this city about caring for its trees is contagious and phenomenal. So to get this award, you have to do 4 standards of care. And the reason they do this is because it shows that the City of Frederick's in it for the long term. They're committed to its tree resources. So they have to do a number of things, including a celebration like today. So thank you for helping them get this recognition for next year. They have to spend a certain amount of money and dedicate some financial resources to its trees. They have to have a law. What do laws do? They help us protect things, right? So there's laws in the City of Frederick that help protect the trees. And then they have to have a dedicated team of individuals like the mayor and aldermen and like Mr. Rippian that care for the trees every day. Frederick has gone above and beyond to meet these 4 criteria over and over again, and for 2016, for which this award's being given, is no different. So definitely proud to be here to present this. A couple of things I wanted to mention before I give these awards to the alderman and Mr. Rippian is some things you may not know that are happening in the City of Frederick related to trees. So you know they're planting trees, right? Because you guys are going to plant one. Okay, overall in the city, they planted 665 trees. Why is that notable? Because it's not just about planting trees, right? It's about keeping them alive and helping them to grow big and strong. And if you compare, the city planted 665 trees, and they only had to remove 65. So they're planting 10 times as many trees as they have to take down because they're sick or old. That is incredible for a city of this size. They also have to care for the ones that are still growing, so they've invested a lot in pruning and making sure that they're not getting diseases. And they've actually pruned 1,645 trees over the last year. So again, a remarkable accomplishment. And this is beyond what they're accomplishing up on the Frederick City watershed. Did you guys know that the city owns a bunch of forests to help protect our drinking water? Did you know that? Yeah. So they're doing a lot of management up there to make sure the forest is healthy, to make sure the water is healthy, which makes sure that the people are healthy. They are also involving the community with a program called 5 Trees for Me, and you can actually go online and see individual trees that have been checked by community members right in your neighborhood. So that's a really cool accomplishment. And they're stepping up their game to be able to do all this. They're incorporating a lot of electronics in their management, like tablets and smartphones. Do you guys use computers? Yes. Everybody does now. So it's important to keep up with some of the technology and how it can help us. So really amazing what the City of Frederick is doing. Always a pleasure for me to come and present this award. And if I can ask Alderman Russell and Mr. Rippian to come up to receive the awards materials, and let's give them a big round of applause. Give you, again, 37, pretty impressive. So, congratulations. Thank you.
At Parkway, all our students know the importance trees have been in the past and will always be to all of us, today, tomorrow, forever. Right now, there are 4 students that are going to share a poem titled Trees by Harry Bain that kind of expresses our feelings about how we feel about trees. We have Lucy Slagle, Kemoy Hewlett, Samaya Kabir, and Sebastian Domen.
Trees are the kindest things I know. They do no harm, they simply grow, and spread a shade for sleeping cows, and gather birds among their boughs.
They give us fruit and leaves above, and wood to make our houses of, and leaves to burn on Halloween, and in the spring, new buds of green.
They are first when day's begun to top the beams of morning sun. They are last to hold the light when evening changes into night. And when a moon floats on the sky, they hum a drowsy lullaby of sleepy children long ago. Trees are the kindest things I know.
Although we're not going to be planting the tree today, I believe one day next week we'll be putting the tree in by Color Lake. We have a student now that's going to share a little bit of information about that tree, the white oak, that will be going in. And the student is Mira Denny.
Today we have gathered to honor our state tree, the white oak. It is also a state tree in Illinois and Connecticut. Maryland designated it as our state tree in 1941. The white oak is named for its whitish bark and gray twigs. White oaks are large, slow-growing, and long-living trees. Some are known to live as long as 600 years. White oaks flower in the spring when the leaves start to appear. Their flowers are small and red. They develop notably strong branches. In the fall, their leaves turn a beautiful shade of red or burgundy. Their height can be 60 to 100 feet tall. Given these characteristics, they are shade trees, featuring a spreading canopy capable of blocking sunlight. At about the first 15 to 20 years of its life, a white oak begins to grow acorns. The acorns tend to be sweet inside. Native Americans used the acorns to make medicines to heal people. They called the white oak the tree of life or king of trees for its healing powers. Today, the white oak's coarse-grained, durable, heavy wood is used for everything from fine furniture and floors to cabinets and fences. In sum, the white oak is strong, helpful, enduring, inspiring, and beautiful. All good ways to also characterize our state and our community. Thank you.
Good morning. I want to thank Principal Brown and her team, students, for putting together such a great program. Unfortunately, like Mr. Wolf said, I was looking forward, Mike and I was looking forward to take some students over and plant a tree and get our hands dirty and muddy, and we still could if you'd like to anyway. If the parents, if any of the parents here that represent your children, maybe we can grab those, get their permission, maybe? Okay. And like earlier you heard, the trees that we plant today are for the future, and you, the students, are the future. So these trees we plant today are for 20 years from now. So we did put in a couple white oaks over at the lake, and one day next week we'll come by and grab maybe a dozen of you to help finish the tree itself. While I'm here, I'll give you a few facts about some of the city's trees. Currently we have over 10,000 street trees. These are the trees most likely within the 8 foot of the curb along the road, 80 different species. We do have over 73 parks, which contains over thousands and thousands of trees. And also, I want to thank the mayor and board for supporting me and my team for letting us to continue our tree planting and pruning program.
Mr. Rippian, we'll look forward to going over to Colored Lake with you and planting those trees. We're sorry we don't have the opportunity to do that today, but it'll definitely be a highlight for those students who are selected to go. So thank you very much.
Also, let me grab you, two of your students. Also, I'm sorry, I forgot to present the flag here. You guys need to go out front. We need to see the flag. I want to present Principal Brown in the school, the Tree City USA flag. Here, Mr. Wolf. All right, there you go.
And that concludes our Arbor Day celebration. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us and being our guests today. We appreciate the opportunity to celebrate Arbor Day with the City of Frederick. To the boys and girls, thank you for being such wonderful audience members. You know, I always compliment you on your good behavior, and you did an excellent job today. Thank you, teachers and family members, for joining us as well. And a special thanks to the boys and girls on stage who did an excellent job. Let me give them a round of applause.